What is going on, everybody? We are here Thursday, and I'm chopping my head off. Let's see if I can scoot down just a little bit. Here we go. That'll be just fine. We'll just run off of this from this standpoint. Hey, what's going on, guys? We had a blog come out live this morning. It was called Sleep It's Complicated. And it's part of a 4-part series that we're looking to release over the next 4 weeks to really help us understand human performance. And what I mean by human performance is what allows us to beat and to tick and to be a human on a daily basis. Because I think sometimes we took some basic sciences back in 8th grade and we can kind of forgot and flush all that out. And I hope this can be a series that's empowering to help you understand what we're trying to achieve with regards to our health and why health is a continual investment in your life and why the cycles that you go through will never be the same cycle. It'll actually be a conglomeration of the life effects. So keeping that in mind, I'm going to try to raise this just a tad. There we go. There we go. Perfect. Keeping that in mind, our first topic is sleep. Now, I think that sometimes we misunderstand what sleep is. There's a lot of confusion, even amongst researchers, discussing, what is the optimal hours of sleep. They say it's 7 to 9 for most people. Some need 12, some need 6, some do this, some do that. And there's no real answer that's very black and white on this. In fact, they like to say that the unique answer is that it's unique to you. So whatever the demands of your system you place upon yourself during the day, let's say you're an Olympic athlete, you might need 12 hours of sleep. However, if you work a desk job and you're a desk jockey, maybe you need about 8. You never know with regards to how your body's going to respond. So it's more of a trial and error position that happens with regards to you in achieving your optimal sleep. However, I want to jump into what happens when we sleep so we can understand the value behind why we need to focus on this. Sleep itself is a mechanism designed for the body to go through healing and repair. It's a time when everything comes together and we see a cleansing of the system. So it's really interesting because our body is designed to go through 5 cycles. We have our non-rapid eye movement and our rapid eye movement. Pretty interesting. Cycle 3 and 4 of non-rapid eye movement are actually our deepest sleep. That's when we're just totally just not moving, just staying in bed, nothing's happening. You're very deep breathing, your blood pressure is dropping, body temperature is cooling off. And it's a great time for repair of our organ systems, especially the muscular system. However, once we get into rapid eye movement, that's where we see all the benefits of the brain health. And that's where we see the consolidation of memory, the long-term connections that are established, and we see an overall cleansing of the toxins that have accumulated throughout the day. So this is really, really fascinating for us because during sleep, we have this amazing fluid that circulates around our brain. It's called cerebrospinal fluid. The technology that we've developed today is called functional MRI. And when we stand upright, we'll see that there's actually a cycle of cerebrospinal fluid. And during waking movement hours, it's not as high as it is when we're sleeping. And when we're sleeping, what we see is that there's a pulse of cerebrospinal fluid circulating through our brain. And what that does is it washes over all of our cells. Our brain shrinks by about 25% to expose all the waste that they've accumulated throughout the day and allows this fluid to cover the brain and bring it back down and drain out of our venous system through our jugular vein, which everybody talks about getting cut in the jugular. However, another series of veins that go down through our spinal canal, which are incredibly important. It's at an area we call the cranial-cervical junction, which is a very, very amazing development we had evolutionary-wise from moving to an upright posture to facilitate the increased blood flow to our brain, fighting gravity. So in this, it's really, really fascinating is that when we have a distortion in the biomechanics of the top bones of our neck, literally right at this part right here, we see a transition and the ability of the cerebral spinal fluid to actually flow through the brain and actually drain from the brain. I'm sorry about that brief pause we had there. So when that's being done, what we're seeing is that we have a higher rate of irritability, a decreased ability to actually respond to memory, and we have an inability to do higher level executive functioning. So we can't really use our brain to the max capacity that we're aiming to achieve. So that is one way that we evaluate our patients who are dealing with sleep issues. They may say, hey, listen, I sleep 8 hours a night, but I'm still irritable in the morning. Well, that means that the healing and repair process probably didn't take place correctly in the system. So here's a few suggestions I made in the blog. First of all, we need to change our environment that we have for sleep. Oftentimes, we have these lovely little idiot boxes that I have that I'm talking to you on, a cell phone in our bedroom. That interrupts our normal sleep cycle. You wake up in the morning, first thing you're doing is checking Facebook, emails, notifications, going through all that. Last thing at night you're doing is looking at the Instagram, the last post, all these things that are happening. And that stimulus is disrupting the normal sleep-wake cycle of the body. You know, it's fascinating. When we were born and when we were raised without all this technology, our body would move in cycles with the sun. So when the sun comes up, we see an increase in serotonin. We see an increase in the ability to actually get moving, and cortisol heightens the system. And then when you go to sleep, you see an increase in melatonin. The blue light emitted from phone and TV disrupts that cycle when you go to sleep. So my first suggestion is that you actually turn off the TV, turn off the cell phone, cut technology about an hour before going to bed. Believe me, it is a bit of a challenge in this day and age. However, it'll give you an opportunity to actually wind down at night so you can get more restful sleep and actually enter into stage 3, 4, and the rapid eye movement. Second, research has suggested that we actually need to sleep in a cooler environment. They suggest somewhere between 60 and 67 degrees at night. Should be very simple in Texas right now, considering the fact that the weather is sitting right at 66. Could open the window up, have a nice evening. You know, you would actually sleep very well. However, to ramp up your body in the morning, we recommend actually turning the heat up. So getting up to about 74, get your body moving, get the fluids flowing, get everything going. Number 3 was the idea that we actually darken the room to a point to where it's pitch black. And this is really fascinating. We want to cover our alarm clocks. We want to cover the LED lights. We want to put blackout shades because there's 2 things that happen in the bedroom. 1, we're not going to talk about. Number 2 is sleeping. So from that standpoint, it's super important that we have a darkened environment that's similar to a cave to allow you to actually stay asleep all night long. That's really awesome. And then my 4th recommendation for going to sleep is to ensure that you cut caffeine about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I know it's difficult for some of you guys. However, when you cut the caffeine, it'll allow your body to go through the normal physiological processes. So those are my sleep hygiene recommendations. They're on the blog. I would recommend you go check them out, implement them into your life, and try to stick to the schedule. See if it actually helps benefit you. However, if you find yourself in a situation where none of this is working and you're still looking at over-the-counter drug of melatonin, you're still trying to find Lunesta, you're trying to look at these opportunities to knock yourself out because your mind is racing at night, here's what I have to say to you. Our body is designed as a sensory-based system. We have information that's in, and then we get a motor system that's out. That's why when the sun shines, we get heightened energy. When the moon comes out at nighttime, we all want to go to sleep. Unless you're a teenager, you stay out till 4 a.m. We don't even need to go to that situation today. So with that being said, you could have a sensory disruption in the ability of your body to properly shut down at nighttime to go to sleep. And this is what we're looking at in the current research called the neurophysiological model of insomnia or of sleep disorders. And what this means is that your brainstem has an inability to properly perceive your environment, and that's causing the hormonal disruption of the signaling mechanisms for your brain to put you into the sleep cycle. So at Hope Chiropractic Center, what we offer is a state-of-the-art technology called computerized infrared thermography. And what this does is it evaluates the heat centers of your brainstem, and it provides for us a real-time graph to let us know if you're functioning in a state of system symmetry or a state of non-interference, or if you're focusing in functioning in an asymmetrical state, which would be imbalance and inability to adapt to your environment, thus leading to the sleep highly. There we go. Where am I? Here we go. So what we highly recommend is that you take the opportunity to give us a call. Come on in. let us run a scan on you and let us check you out and see if what we have to offer can actually benefit you with regards to your sleep. This is number one of human performance, because if you sleep better, you perform better. Whether you're an athlete, whether you're a desk jockey, or whether you're somebody who's a Fortune 500 CEO, a small business entrepreneur, a mom, a kid, a teenager, listen, I don't care who you are, sleep is important to all of you, and it will actually dictate your ability to perform your daily life. So it's not just an athlete principle. This is a principle that is across all lines, all walks of life. So this is my challenge to you, is the next time you find yourself in a sleep-related issue, give us a call. We love to talk to you. We love to show you what we have to offer, and we love to help you find long-term answers so that you continue to perform at your very best. Check out our blog. It's pretty awesome. LinkedIn, Sleep. It's complicated.